I've made over $1 million as a freelance copywriter, and it was all because I know how to close premium copywriting clients, which is what we're going to be talking about today. Today, I'm going to share with you the 12 proven client getting strategies that work right now. These strategies have helped 72 of my private copywriting clients clear 6 figures in yearly income and close premium copywriting deals worth $7K, $8K, $12K, $15K, even $20,000 every single month. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which of these strategies is right for you right now, so you can also close some premium copywriting clients as soon as possible. Let's get into it. Now, before I get into the 12 ways to close clients in this video, let me be clear. If you don't already have copywriting clients, this video is probably not for you. There are many videos for beginner copywriters on YouTube already, so I'd highly recommend you go watch one of those if you're in the early phases of your career. If you're a copywriter with an active income and you currently have some clients and you want to take your income to the next level, this video is for you. So let's go ahead and break down these 12 strategies right now and see which one you should use to close your next copy deal. Okay, so the first one we're going to be talking about is getting a client from a client. So we're going to be talking about referrals. Now, referrals are the most important type of client getting because they build your entire business. When I got started, I struggled to get clients in the early days, but once I got 2 to 3 really good clients, I was able to generate more and more deals by just getting referral after referral after referral. And the best part about referrals, in my perspective, is you actually get paid to get paid, because when you deliver good work, you actually get referrals. So all your client getting is actually done for you by the actual work that you're doing, which is the best type, because a lot of people are trying to get clients and they're spending all this time on cold emails, or they're spending all this time on other strategies, the ones we're going to be talking about right after this one, but it takes time. Those all take time. So the best part of referrals is that they don't take that much time. And clients are also pre-sold and working with you, because when you get referred, there is a trust that is already established. And I love that because I don't really enjoy sales calls that much. So having a client actually say, you know what, so-and-so is a really good copywriter, I'd highly recommend you work with him or her. It saves you a lot of time on the sales call. I had a sales call 2.5 years ago with a really successful 8-figure business owner, and the call was 10 minutes long. There was no sales process. We literally just chatted about what the responsibilities were, what he needed from me as a copywriter. I quoted him. I said, it's gonna be $4,000 every single month. Deal closed just like that. And I took that deal to $5K a month really shortly after that, and made that client $2.3 million in 1 year just from email copy, which we're gonna talk about in another video on the channel in the future. But the point I'm making here is getting clients from clients is the #1 way to grow your copywriting business if you want to be in the game sustainably and you want to be in the game for a very long time. So while referrals are the best way to get clients in the long run, and it's the most sustainable and consistent, there are a couple things that are required to make it work very well. And that's why I said this video is not really for beginners, because you absolutely need to have clients to get referrals, right? Birds of a feather flock together. If you have some good clients and you get referrals, you're going to get some more good clients. If you have some average clients or you have some really bad clients, like when you're in the beginner phase, sometimes you have not so good clients, you don't really want to get referrals from them because they're just going to refer you more bad business. I remember working with a copywriter 4 years ago, and every single one of his clients was like nickel and diming him. He was making like $250, and he'd get referrals from each of these clients, but they were all the same. They all wanted to nickel and dime. And he's like, I don't know about this copywriting thing. I don't really feel like this copywriting thing is paying that well. Is that good? I'm like, yeah, because you're in the wrong circle. You're in a circle where everybody is just all cheap. They're all just referring bad business to you, you know, and you want to avoid that. So this strategy works when you have good clients and you want to get more good clients. It's not as effective when you're in the early phases of your career. And you want to use one of the other 11 strategies that I'm going to be talking to you about if you want to get good clients in the first place, that you can then use for this referral system. Now, one other thing that you can do with the referral system is that you can also get referrals from people within the team. It's not just about getting referrals directly from clients. You can also make friends with people in the business, and then you can get referrals like that. For example, one friend of mine that I worked with 5 years ago has referred me about $340,000 worth of copywriting business in the last 5 years. So $250,000 from just one person that I became close friends with. He's just been referring me and referring me and referring me. So that's extremely valuable, and he was not my client. He was somebody on the team. So you want to make sure that not only are you getting referrals from the client, but you're also getting referrals from people within the team. So how do you actually get clients with this system? Let's talk about a couple of the actual steps you can implement to get a referral if you have a good client. Let's break referrals down into 4 simple steps. So step 1, get the client's definition of success. That's what we did. Then step 2 is to create positive improvements that are visible within their business. So what I would do is I would send a report every single week on Monday to my client to say, hey, look, we got results this week. Hey, look, we made this change. Hey, look, we did this. Hey, look, we've done that. Not asking the client necessarily to give me feedback or to be involved, but just sharing the progress. A lot of copywriters are getting results for their clients. You might be getting results for your clients, but you're not actually showing them that you're up to stuff. And this is not about whether you're making them more money or not. Positive improvements in the business also means that you finish projects, also means that stuff has been done. So even saying these 10 emails are now ready to go, we're sending them out to the list and we're going to see how they perform, that alone could be a visible positive improvement to their business. The following week, you could say, we've just finished sending out all 10 emails and we're already getting some really, really positive data. Can't wait to share it with you on Monday. Showing your client things like this and just dropping them into the team chat here and there gives your client this constant impression that you're adding value, that you're doing stuff. Because clients do not want to feel like they have to chase you or they have to check in on you. If your client is asking you, hey, what's the status on things? Hey, how's this going? Hey, what's happening here? You've failed at giving them a positive feedback loop on a regular basis. They need to see it from you. That's why copywriters get stuck in team meetings so often, because businesses are like, if we don't put him in a team meeting or her in a team meeting to get some feedback and get a report, we're never going to know the status on anything. I have a lot of clients where I don't have any team meetings with them because I give them updates every single Monday without a meeting. I actually say, hey, here's the update. We did this, we did this, we did this. Here's the data, we did this. Here's the report on this. Here's the sales on this. Here's what we're working on for the week. If you need anything, you know where to reach me. Done. What do you need me on a meeting for? I've already given them all the data. And it's like, not only does this give you all your time back and you get to avoid meetings, but you give your clients reassurance, you make your clients feel comfortable. They don't feel like they have to keep checking in on you. And also you're building that referral engine behind the scenes. Because after step 1, getting the client's definition of success, after step 2, getting that visible feedback loop and showing them what's happening in their business, step 3 is you actually achieve the definition of success. And when you achieve your client's definition of success, what you're doing is you're saying, hey, you hired me for X, I have now delivered X. Congratulations, we have accomplished our initial goal together. Now the client's happy. Now the client's like, yes, we did it. I'm so glad I made such a good investment. I got an ROI. I made the right decision. They feel good right now. And when they feel good and they feel like you've helped them succeed, that is when you make an ask, which is step number 4. You make them an ask and you say, hey, I really appreciate it. I'm so glad we were able to accomplish this together. Your client says something like, yeah, it's been amazing, fantastic work, really appreciate you. You've been on the ball, was great. Now you can make them an ask. So you could say something like, hey, I'm really happy to hear that. I'm so glad that, we got that result. Yeah, like fire emoji, like strong arm emoji. Is there anyone else that you know, maybe a friend or business owner, who needs help with something like this too? Just something really, really straightforward like that. You can craft it, you can rewrite that, you can come up with it that's more specific for the situation. For example, if it's like an autoresponder project, you could say, yeah, the autoresponder is getting us some sales now, time to take it to the next level. By the way, do you know anyone else, maybe another business owner with a similar business model, who also might need an autoresponder? I'd love to help somebody else with this too. It's the perfect time to ask for a referral because you've just delivered success. By the way, after achieving success for the client, this is also a perfect time you can ask for a testimonial. The conversation might go something like this. Hey, we just accomplished the goal that we set out to accomplish. We just got these Facebook ads to convert at this rate, or we got this amount of sales, or the landing page is doing this or that, or the open rate is this or that or whatever. And then the client's like, yeah, appreciate you. That's fantastic work. Great job. Then you can reply, thanks so much. I really, really appreciate that. Would you be open to sharing that in the form of a video testimonial for me, please? Boom, got a testimonial. So you can ask for a referral or you can ask for a video testimonial. Sometimes you can just ask for both. So I actually like to do both. I like to ask for a referral and then I like to ask for a testimonial. And it doesn't really matter whether they say yes to the referral or not. I still ask for the testimonial afterwards. For example, I might say something like, hey, congrats, team, we just did it. We just broke 40% open rates and we just doubled our sales on email like we planned. I'm so happy that we did this. Nice work, everybody. Then the client might say, Matt, that was fantastic. Really, really good job. I really appreciate how quickly you put this together, how thorough you were. It's doing really, really well. Then I say something like, hey, thanks. Really, really appreciate that. Do you know anyone else who might need email copy like this as well, who has a similar business to you? I'd be more than happy to help them too. And then they might say something like, yeah, actually I do, let me introduce you. Or like, I don't actually have anybody else I can think of. They usually probably say that, but they might actually say something like, no, I don't do referrals or something. And some clients are particular, right? So they say, okay, no, I don't do that. They say, okay, thanks, that's fine, I'm glad I asked anyway. Would you be open to sharing what you just shared with me in the form of a video testimonial? I'd really appreciate it. Now, the key here is that you actually have to be comfortable asking for something. And that's where the real challenge is, because I can give you the script, I can give you the perfect way to ask for a referral, but you actually have to make the ask. And sometimes that's scary. Sometimes that's even scarier than quoting the price for your services. I think it's just a fear of rejection a lot of the time, and I think a lot of copywriters have this fear of rejection. You've got to work through that because you need to get comfortable with people saying no to you. That is the number one thing that you need to be comfortable with for all of these strategies to work. So that's a high-level overview of getting clients from referrals. If you want to go into more detail, you want to go into even more nuanced step-by-step processes to get referrals and to retain clients and to get testimonials. That's something I do with my private clients in the dojo. You can click the link below this video and you can apply. If you're an active copywriter and you have an active income, then you may qualify to work with us, and I'd be more than happy to show you step by step, give you some feedback, show you exactly what you need to do and exactly the things that you could say to generate more business for yourself and get more referrals. With that said, let's get to strategy number 2. All right, so strategy number 2, introductions. Introductions are fantastic. Like referrals, they are inbound. They are deals that are like pre-sold. They are businesses that have heard a lot of good stuff about you and want to work with you, but they're not quite like a referral, because a referral is more like, hey, I know you're looking for a copywriter right now. I know you're a copywriter. You guys kiss, you know? Like that's basically how that works. But with introductions, it's more like, here's somebody that's really, really good. I recommend you guys, have a conversation, see where things are at, see if there's potential to work together. Or it could just be simply like, oh yeah, you should chat to Matt. Maybe I make an introduction for you guys and put you guys in the group chat and you see what happens. Like they're a little bit less of a direct sale. They're a little bit less like, hey, you need a client. You're a client that needs a copywriter. You guys, work together. And I love introductions because they're low pressure, because introductions break the ice very, very quickly, because you're like put in a group chat with each other like, hey, you guys need to have a conversation. It's not the same as when you cold messaging somebody and you're like, hey, can I help you with your business or whatever? With good introductions from really like great introducers, they'll put you in a group chat and they'll say something like, hey, this is Matthew. Matthew is a fantastic copywriter who's got loads of experience, made multiple 8 figures in revenue for his clients. I think that, you should really have a conversation with Matthew. Matthew's a great person. Hey, Matthew, please meet my good friend, business owner. Business owner is a fantastic dude who is running a multi 10-figure operation, and he needs the best copywriter out there to help him with his business. I think you guys should have a conversation, see if it's a fit, right? So it's kind of like a referral, except it's not always as official, right? And that's what I'd say is my second favorite strategy, because again, it's inbound. It doesn't require a lot of like heavy lifting. It doesn't require a lot of work. It's mostly all done for you. The 80-20 of it is 80% is the introduction, 20% is the sales process. Now, there are a couple of requirements for this strategy to work really, really well. The first one is you have to first know how to make introductions yourself, because if you don't make introductions for other people, you're not going to create reciprocity. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you need to actually build a network. So you need to be talking with people that you don't know yet. You need to be making friends with online strangers, okay, every single week. And so if you want to get this right, you need to be making friends with strangers, you need to be building relationships with the people that you already know, and you need to be making introductions for other people. These things start to cultivate a positive experience working with you, talking to you, and people will start to make introductions for you, right? Over the last few years, I've been getting a lot of introductions. In fact, most of the people I talk to and most of the people I work with privately actually come from introduction, and they come from referrals. They don't come from like any sort of other strategy. We're going to talk about the other strategies, but if you master these 2 strategies and you're already at 10K a month, you can probably take your business to $20,000, $25,000 just with what we've shared so far. Okay, so strategy number 3 is organic inbound. Now, when I say organic, I mean online platforms like Facebook, like Twitter, like Instagram, like LinkedIn, or a website. These platforms you can use to generate demand for your services and get people to reach out to you. That's what the idea of inbound is. Instead of sending cold emails, instead of approaching lots of businesses, instead of applying for gigs, you get people reaching out to you first. And I like this because when you do organic inbound correctly, you're actually going to get positioned as the expert on the sales call. People are going to look at you as somebody who knows what they're doing, because why are they on the phone in the first place? They read your copy, they liked it, and they want to move forward. Now, I see a lot of copywriters misuse this strategy, and they'll make posts and they'll build an Instagram account or Facebook account or LinkedIn, and they'll talk about stuff like the 3 strategies to improve your subject lines, or the 3 ways to get more sales from your sales page, or here are 5 headlines that convert in 2026. And I would highly advise against you doing that, because business owners are not reading copywriters' social media profiles as a form of content. Business owners are reading stuff from very, very successful people. They're reading how to get to the next level. They're reading from thought leaders that help them grow their business. Copywriters talking about subject lines, call to actions, copywriting stuff is not really what business owners want to hear about. So if you're posting on social media like the 5 ways to grow your email list, the 3 ways to improve your body cop, you're not really talking to business owners. You're actually talking to people who want to learn copywriting. You're actually attracting the wrong crowd. If you want to talk to business owners, you need to talk to them about stuff that they actually care about. They don't really care about subject lines. That's why they're hiring you. They don't really care about the call to action. That's why they're hiring you, right? You want to talk to them about stuff that they care about, the stuff that makes them tick, makes them think about, oh, how am I going to grow my business? How am I going to get more sales? How am I going to reduce my ad costs? These are the kinds of things that business owners are talking about. And even then, I would still not really advise you to post that kind of content. There is a different type of content I recommend copywriters post on social media, and I'll give you an overview of it. Essentially, what you want to do is you want to use social media as a platform to talk about your life, talk about the fact that you're actively in the industry, share your journey. Don't focus too much on like sales type of content, like here are 5 ways to improve and here are 5 ways, like don't talk about that kind of stuff so much. Business owners are not going to be reading it, okay? So usually this strategy works best if you combine it with another strategy, because business owners are not necessarily going to be following you and reading your content as a main source of consumption for them. They're not going to find it as useful. For example, if you use introductions, you could combine it with organic inbound, because a business owner looks at your profile after they've been introduced to you and they say, wow, I really like this person. This person's really active in the industry. This copywriter looks like they're successful, looks like they're doing cool stuff. I'd love to hire them and work with them, right? So you're using your organic presence as a boost, right? As a boost for any of the other strategies. That's the number 1 way I would recommend you use this strategy. Once you get some momentum, once you've been posting actively for a long time and you've got some momentum, you can start using organic inbound to generate deals for you. That doesn't happen overnight. That might take 3 to 6 months, because the sales cycle in this industry is long, number 1. And also number 2, when you're posting, you have to build up a bit of a following. You have to be actively adding people. For example, if you're using Facebook, you need to be adding people. If you have 500 friends and they're all family and you're posting, nobody's going to see your posts. Same with Instagram. If you've got only 300 followers and you're posting about copywriting all the time, nobody's really going to be seeing your posts. So I see a lot of people posting on social media and they're like, oh, this strategy doesn't work. But if we go back to the steps, it's like step 1 is, start increasing the audience. So if you're on Facebook, for example, you might be adding people. If you're on LinkedIn, you could be making connection requests, right? You start to increase the amount of people following you. That's number 1. Number 2 is to obviously be talking to your ideal client avatar. And number 3 is to keep improving the posts and to start making direct call outs to, hey, I am looking for one more client right now. I'd like to help them with this, that, and the other, right? So when you use organic inbound like that, you will be able to generate clients. But just remember, it might take 3 to 6 months to get this right correctly. So in the meantime, if you want to use this today, get some good photos, make some posts, combine that with one of the other strategies I'm going to share with you in today's video, and you're going to be able to generate more deals for yourself, okay? So that is strategy number 3. Let's get into the next one. So strategy number 4 is job applications. And to get clients from a job post or a job board, you need to understand a couple things. First of all, you need to have a CV that stands out from other copywriters' CVs. You need to be following up with people. You need to follow the instructions of the job application process. And you need to apply even if you don't think that you're the perfect fit for the role. Even if it says we need 10 years of experience, apply anyway. So getting a client from a job board or from a job post is one of the best ways to get clients, because you take a sales cycle that might be 6 months long and you shorten it to just 2 weeks, because they're actively looking for a copywriter like you. And the downside is usually there are a lot of people applying for the same gig. So you have to stand out. You have to be different. You have to show why you're the best fit for the opportunity. And to do that requires a little bit of creativity, it requires a little bit of originality, and you really got to give it your best. So I'll tell you a quick story about how I closed a client from job applications. I saw a job post and it was 8 months old, and I looked at it and I was like, oh, this looks really cool. I'd really love to work with this business, but 300 other people have applied already. It's like 8 months old. They probably already found the copywriter. They're looking for somebody with like 3 years of experience. It's never going to be a fit for me. I'm never going to be able to close that client. And that's how I felt. That was my headspace. That was what I was telling myself. My friend told me, you really need to apply for this thing. You really, really need to go for this gig, because if you get this gig, your whole life can change. It'll take you 1 day to do the application, and who knows? Maybe they didn't find the right person. Maybe they found someone, they're looking for somebody else. Maybe they found someone, they worked together for a while and didn't work out. You never know. Just apply anyway. What's the worst thing that can happen? You lose a day. So I did. I applied to the gig, and you know what? That gig changed my life. That was one of the best opportunities I ever had as a copywriter when I first got started. The company had a copy chief. I learned a lot. I made a lot of good money at the beginning of my career. I got a lot of results to show for it. And yeah, it completely changed my life. A gig 8 months old. A gig 300 other people had already applied to. And a gig that even had requirements on it that when I looked at it, I said, I don't qualify because I don't meet these requirements. But I did it anyway. And that's what I'd recommend you do too. When you look at job posts and you look at applying to a gig, you might think, oh, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I have what it takes. You need to adjust your portfolio. You need to adjust your CV, and you need to apply for it anyway. And you need to make a case for why you're the best fit for the opportunity. Okay, let's recap. Step number 1, you need to find the job post. So there are a lot of different opportunities in lots of different platforms, whether it's on Facebook or LinkedIn or Google or Indeed. You must look for the gig. You find the gig, that's step 1. Step 2 is to actually apply for the gig, even if you don't think you're a perfect fit for it. Apply for it anyway. Step number 3 is customize your application to make sure that you're the best fit, or you position yourself in the best way possible to show why you're the fit for the opportunity. And step number 4 is to keep following up. Don't take maybe for an answer. Keep following up until you get a yes or you get a no. Don't give up. Now that doesn't mean following up every single day, okay? That might mean like once a week on Tuesday or something. I usually like to follow up once a week, maybe even once every 2 weeks, and on Tuesday or Thursday, because people don't really look at their inbox on Fridays. They're clocking out for the week. Monday is usually full of meetings. Nobody reads their emails on Saturday or Sunday either. So Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, once a week or once every 2 weeks is a really good time to follow up with people. So I would do that. And then just keep improving the process. And if you're not getting gigs, ask yourself, what does the copywriter who got this gig have that I don't have? And maybe it's they have more results than you. Maybe it's they've written more emails in the industry. Maybe it's they have more experience in that niche. Maybe it's something else, but you got to ask yourself, what am I missing? Because when you close gigs in the future, you're looking to close gigs that get you the kind of results, get you the kind of experience that you need to close more gigs and more gigs and more gigs, okay? So strategy number 5 is email outreach. Yes, the one that everybody hates, but it still works. And it's always going to work, because the cool thing about email is that you get to choose who you're reaching out to, you get to choose when to reach out to them, and you get to make your case without necessarily going through a job application process. So if you get this right, you're able to actually skip job applications altogether. You can actually get in, it's like the back door, right? The problem these days is that so many people send cold emails, you have to be shockingly good at copy. Yeah, surprising, I know. You actually have to be good at writing copy. Crazy, right? Because you're a copywriter, yeah? But that's the thing, right? Is you actually have to be good at writing copy. And that is probably the biggest mistake with this, is that most people write emails that all look the same. They all look like templates. They all look like you bulk sending. What you want to do to get email right is you have to be personal, you have to be original, you have to be creative, and you have to make a compelling offer. The other day, somebody sent me a cold email to help me grow. Right? They're like, oh, we'll help you grow. And I like ignored the emails, like, oh, whatever, I don't want. I get cold emails a lot actually these days, especially thanks to the YouTube channel. A lot of people are like, oh, love your videos so much, they're so great. Do you by any chance need help with an editor? I kind of do actually need help with that. Maybe we should get a video. What, are you serious? This is your pitch? Like, look how much time we're spending on these videos. Do you really think that we need an editor right now? Yeah, pitch is pretty bad. So I was like, do we need an editor? No. But if that guy had come to me, or that person who sent the message had said like, well, love your videos, love your channel. I have some ideas for you on some content ideas that you could potentially post about that relate to your ideal audience, which is people making $10,000 a month from copywriting who want to get to the next level. Would you be interested in seeing the ideas? Of course I would say yes. Of course I would say, send me that list. Don't send me that now, please. Don't, if you're watching this video, don't make that pitch to me, because now a lot of people are gonna make that pitch. That's sort of the idea, is like something I actually care about, something personal, something specific to me, making me a real offer that makes sense. They didn't do that, so I just ignored their email. On the other hand, I got another guy that actually sent me a really good email, and it wasn't even that creative, it wasn't even that good, the copy wasn't even that good, but the offer was fantastic. And I'm not gonna tell you what the offer is, because then everybody's just gonna use that offer, but the idea was around helping me grow my business in a very unique way. And when you approach businesses, you need to understand what they need help with and how you actually can help them with that. So when you send cold emails, you want your email to be personable, you want your email to be original and creative, but you also want it to be very, very clear, to the point, making them an offer that they actually want, making them an offer that helps them grow or helps them get something that they want in their business. For example, something that used to work really, really well for my clients was helping people get out of the promo tab. A lot of the time we would send this email and say, hey, notice your email's in the promo tab, blah, 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 blah. Can help you with that, getting out of the promo tab very, very quickly. Would you be open to it? Right now, as of recording this video, everybody's doing that. So I would not necessarily recommend you send an email like that, but maybe you could send an email like, hey, we recently ran a campaign for so-and-so. It generated them $150,000 from just 10 emails. You have a very, very similar business, which is why I'm reaching out, because I'd love to run this campaign for you too. In your voice to your list. I think your list is gonna love it. If you'd like to know more about how that campaign works specifically, hit reply, let me know, and I'll show you how that campaign works. Something like that. It doesn't have to be that short. Maybe you add something in the beginning. You need to be the copywriter. You need to use your brain to write a really good cold email. I'm not gonna go into all the details here, but that's the general idea. Cold email outreach is one of the best ways to get clients. It's always gonna be a good way to get clients, because you get to choose who you target. Okay, so let's go over how cold email outreach works step by step. Step number one is to set up your inbox and make sure you have an email that you can actually send emails from. Step number two is to go and find your dream clients and to actually get their contact information so you can send an email that they actually notice in their inbox. Step number three is to come up with an offer for them specifically that makes sense, that you could actually make a pitch to them with, that they would be more inclined to respond to. Step number four is to actually write something that gets their attention and gets into their inbox. And step number five is to have creative, original, and useful, not annoying or high pressure stuff, just like interesting, thoughtful follow-ups that keep reminding them of your email, because that's something a lot of people make the mistake of doing, is that they don't follow up. And you want to make sure that you're following up, because if you don't follow up, people just get busy. One of the people that sent me a cold email, I ignored. They sent me another cold email, I ignored. They sent me another one. On the 7th email, I was like, all right, this person actually really wants to get my attention. Let me see what they actually have to say, because they followed up so many times. And that's when I was actually really interested. I was like, oh, thank you for following up. Thank you for actually making your case to me. So a lot of people send in emails like, oh, he ignored it, whatever. But if you follow up and you're consistent and you're persistent and you just keep sending emails, obviously as long as they're thoughtful and they make sense over time, then you give the opportunity to the business owner to say yes or no. And I don't like maybe. Either it's yes, you want to know more, or you're not interested, then I can move on. But I'm not going to move on until you say no. And that's why I said, like earlier in this video, you need to be comfortable with the idea of getting rejected. You need to be comfortable with the idea of being said no to. And that's usually the biggest reason why copywriters avoid client getting strategies in general. And they want to find a way to get a client without actually getting rejected or having any chance of being rejected, but that doesn't exist. And if you really want to make more than $10,000, you want to make $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, you got to get comfortable with being rejected on a daily basis. And it's not personal. It's nothing personal. It's just this business owner doesn't currently need your services. Or this business owner does need your services, but they already have somebody in the role. That's a big mistake I see a lot of copywriters make. They look at a business and they're like, oh, they've already got a copywriter. They'll never hire me. They've already got one. It's like, what if they want a second copywriter? What if they have work for a copywriter that their current copywriter is too busy to do? What if they need your help, but you're afraid of rejection? You're afraid of being told we don't need your help right now. You don't actually reach out to them. That might happen, right? And you might be thinking that, and that's part of the reason why maybe you didn't apply to that dream client. And by the way, bonus little side tip for you guys, make sure that you go after big businesses. Don't be afraid of the big clients. The big clients are the best clients because they're the ones that get you results. They give you stuff you can brag about. They have better systems. Their offer is better, so it sells better as well, which means it's easier for you to write compelling copy. And you're also going to be able to meet a lot of cool people, which means you get to implement strategy number 1, which is referrals, and strategy number 2, which is introductions. You're going to be able to use all that stuff effectively and actually get clients, but only if you're working with the best in the industry. If you're working with clients at like $100,000 a year, they might be giving you bad introductions, bad referrals. You're not going to really be able to generate them any real like results that you can brag about, and they're going to nickel and dime you and probably pay late and maybe not even pay at all, and then complain about you on social media. So kind of like avoid all those people just in general and go after the big guys, and just make sure that you absolutely 100% give it your best. Make the cold email personalized, make the cold email original, make a good offer, get their contact information, follow up with them, don't give up. And if you still can't get in touch with them, then use the next strategy I'm about to share with you. Strategy number 6 is Facebook outreach. Now, I like Facebook outreach a lot because unlike email, on Facebook you have a profile. So all your potential clients, they can look at your profile. Unlike email, where they look at your email and they're like, who is this? What is this person? Whereas on Facebook, if you send a message and they see your message, they say, who is this? They can actually just look immediately. They can just look at your profile on Facebook and be, oh, successful copywriter, got these results, doing this, lives here. Nice, I want to know more, right? So with Facebook, you kind of make the homework easy for a business owner. They can see you immediately and they can see, okay, I want to work with this person, or I want to take them up on their offer. There are a couple of challenges that you will run into when you do Facebook outreach, and the one is that you might land in their message requests folder, because big businesses often have filters. I've noticed at this point with my following on Facebook, because I've got quite a lot of people following me on Facebook, that now a lot of people that send me a message, I don't actually see their message. It lands in the message requests folder, and I have to actually manually go into message requests and read the messages and choose which ones to put in my main inbox. So this might happen, and there are ways to overcome that. There are ways to get into that main inbox, like by adding them as a friend, being an active person on their social media profile, maybe replying to their story will put you in the main inbox. There's a lot of tactics that you can learn and use, and over time they might change. So I'm not going to go into too much detail right now. I do that with my private clients. We go into the exact details of this kind of stuff. But the big idea is Facebook outreach is really good because you have a profile that goes with your pitch. And I really, really like that. Okay, so that brings us to strategy number 7, which is Instagram outreach. Now, I like Instagram outreach because just like Facebook, you have a case to be made about why people should work with you, because you have all these nice photos that you can put up. There are a couple things you need to keep in mind. And the first one is, what type of photos are on your Instagram? Now, if you're using Instagram to socialize and use it as a social media platform, it might not attract business owners because most social media content doesn't look professional. It's not really for business purposes, right? So you have to understand that if you want to use Instagram or Facebook for business and to get clients, you need to convert the idea of social media into business media. You need to see it as a platform to showcase yourself. It's like a mini CV, but clipped into different photos and put into your profile, right? So getting clients on Instagram is pretty straightforward. Step 1 is to set up your profile as business media. That way, when you outreach to people, people look at your profile and they see you as a professional. Step 2 is to actually do some prospecting and find some big clients. Don't go for small people, go for big people. And that doesn't mean how many followers they have. That means how many sales they get, how big is their business. Here's a misconception. A lot of people think, I'm going to get clients on Instagram, they have to be Instagram businesses. Wrong. You can reach out to a business that runs Facebook ads to get majority of their clients on Instagram. In fact, I usually recommend that. I usually would tell my clients privately, hey, if they're getting most of their business on Instagram, then maybe reach out to them on Facebook because they're not using Facebook for lead generation. So they might actually see your message. Or if they're getting a lot of their clients from YouTube ads, then maybe if you send them a message on LinkedIn, you're gonna get their attention, right? So look for a place where there's less competition, where there's less noise. That's where you reach out to them. Now the next step, after you've set up your Instagram profile to get clients, and after you've done prospecting and you've looked for the ideal clients to reach out to, is to actually warm them up and engage with them a little bit, because otherwise you're just gonna end up straight in their spam or requests folder. You wanna maybe reply to their story, make a couple of comments on their posts, follow them. You don't want to just send them straight away a pitch. And this is why I see so many copywriters not get clients with outreach in general, is that they're very, very quick, especially with social media outreach. They're very, very quick to just make a pitch and move on. Hey, are you looking for a copywriter? Hey, you're looking for a copywriter. Hey, you're looking for a copywriter. They like say it to 20 different businesses in a row and they're like, oh, outreach doesn't work. I'll give you an example of somebody who uses Instagram the right way. He's one of my clients and he has a lot of great results in the health industry. So he will follow somebody, he will like some of their posts, he will comment, maybe even reply to a story, and once the business owner responds to his message, then he might send his pitch. So for example, the business owner has a story about something, he walks on the beach or whatever, my client, private client will say, oh, amazing, beautiful beach, is that Thailand by any chance? Then the business owner might say, yeah, it is actually Thailand. Oh yeah, thanks for liking my story, boom. Then he will make his pitch maybe a couple messages later and say, hey, here's the reason I'm reaching out. I like your stuff, blah, 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 pitch, right? So you want to use Instagram like that. You want to make sure that you don't just land in the message requests folder. You want to get their attention first. Usually if you reply to stories, you're going to be put in the primary section. But again, like that might be updated in a year or two. Things change on these platforms. It's important you understand the principle. Email outreach, Facebook outreach, Instagram outreach, and the next one I'm about to talk about, they're all basically the same thing at the end of the day. The strategy is pretty much the same. The steps in the strategy are pretty much the same. It's just the tactics that change over time and the way that you reach out to get attention. And the thing you need to remember with outreach, we're not gonna make this into a masterclass today, perhaps I'll create a separate video on it, but the idea of outreach is that you wanna be different. You wanna create a different offer and you want to sound different than every single other person in the inbox. And that's the most important thing about outreach. So that's why I don't really recommend people use a script, because if you use a script, 15 other people use the same script as you now sound like 15 other people. What you want to do is you want to understand why you're reaching out. You want to understand what the business owner actually needs. And then you craft a message personally for them. You use your copy skills to stand out from other people and you make that pitch. And then they look at it and they're like, oh, that's very interesting. I actually might take you up on that. And if you make a good pitch and you make a good offer, very, very often you can close clients like this. So strategy number 8, LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a great place and a lot of copywriters overlook LinkedIn because they think, oh, it's just this big, noisy, corporate fluff place where everybody's like, congratulations on your new role, like that kind of stuff. There's actually a lot of really good copywriting clients on LinkedIn. And even if you don't get in touch with the CEO directly, it's very easy to get clients on LinkedIn by reaching out to somebody in their team, like the marketing director, like HR, like maybe the sales director or somebody else in the team. So you can often use LinkedIn to reach out to the team directly if you cannot get the CEO's attention. So I actually really like LinkedIn. Also, if you set your profile up correctly, you can get a lot of inbound like that, like we covered in strategy number 3. So set your profile up correctly and use LinkedIn. Also, there's a job feature on LinkedIn, so you can actually apply to jobs on LinkedIn. And that goes back to the other strategy we're talking about, like applying for gigs, applying for jobs. So LinkedIn's actually a really great place because you can use all 3 of those strategies all at once and make them all work for you. And we have a lot of copywriters in the dojo closing clients with LinkedIn. So I'd highly recommend you optimize your LinkedIn profile. And if you don't have a website, buy your domain, buy your name as a domain, like mine, matthewforkfane.com. And then just have your domain redirect to your LinkedIn. Like when people click the link or when they type the domain, just have it redirect to LinkedIn. And then they can see your profile on LinkedIn and you can use LinkedIn as like your CV. So use LinkedIn, it's great. Love the platform. Lots of different ways you can use it to get clients. Let's get to the next strategy. Strategy number 9, online groups. I love online groups because that's where all the people in our industry hang out. I'm not gonna go into the details of every single group on Facebook and LinkedIn and online in general, because there's non-paid groups and there's also paid groups. And then there's groups that are working today, that are active right now. And then there are groups that are not so active, but used to be active. And there's definitely gonna be a lot more groups in the future too when we release this video. So make sure that you know how to find groups. That's the most important thing. Once you find some groups where the right people hang out on social media and in paid groups, then you're going to be able to start using this strategy. And what you want to do is you want to be active in these groups. You want to be an active contributor. You want to be sharing stuff. You want to be making friends. You want to be talking to the owner of the group. I think this is a brilliant way to get clients because you're able to generate some attention for yourself. You're also able to make some powerful connections and you're able to use other strategies. For example, let's use Facebook. Let's say you're in a group on Facebook and you're making friends with people in the community. You're posting in the community. You're friends with the owner. And maybe you're even adding some of those people in that group to your friends list. Now they see your Facebook profile, so you can actually make posts on your Facebook profile and get their attention even further. And when you do that, now that you make more friends, you might be able to get introductions, you might be able to get referrals, you might even be able to generate some inbound business from Facebook. So this strategy works very, very well with other strategies. Use groups, I highly recommend it. In fact, groups are probably the most powerful way to get clients if you don't have referrals or introductions or inbound. In my experience, I would say it's one of the most powerful client getting strategies out there, and it's not gonna go out of fashion anytime soon because most people don't know how to do it properly. Here's an example of an online group, the Email Dojo, my mastermind, where I coach copywriters to go from 10K to 25K a month. One of the copywriters in the dojo might close a dream client using one of the 12 strategies that we're going over in this video. And when they close that client, now they have too many clients, right? They're working with too many people. So they have to offboard one of their maybe older clients that doesn't pay them as much. What are they gonna do? They're gonna share the opportunity in the dojo first. So other copywriters in the dojo who are in the group get the opportunity before anybody else, before Facebook, before there's a job post, they get the job opportunity first. And that's the power of an online community. If you're in the right online masterminds and communities and groups, you get first dibs on deals. You get opportunities to meet with very, very cool people that you might not meet any other way. And also it's a really great way to start a conversation. It's like, hey, it's so cool, you're also in the dojo. I just joined the other day and it's really nice to get to know other copywriters who make over $10,000 every single month. For example, it's not so easy to have that conversation with someone randomly on Facebook. Whereas if you're in a group, you can talk about the fact that you're in the same group and you can start to build relationships like that. So online groups are a very powerful way to close clients, but they're also a very, very powerful way to build your circle of high quality people that will generate you more deals in the future and also help you with the craft. Like if you're friends with other copywriters and you're friends with people in the industry, you're gonna learn stuff that you wouldn't learn by yourself. You don't need to buy courses when you're around people that are succeeding because you can just ask them for help. Hey, could you have a look at my copy? Hey, what do you think of this? Hey, what do you think of that? You can get feedback from these groups as well. So it's not even just a client getting strategy. This should be a daily habit to be in very, very successful groups. And like I said before, if you're an active copywriter and you're serious about taking your income from 10K to 15K to 20K to 25K, and you want to close premium deals, and you want to be a part of an online community, an online mastermind of other successful copywriters, apply to join us in the dojo. Links in the description to apply. Let's get to the next strategy. Strategy number 10. Wow, we're speeding through this. This one is the one that copywriters don't like, the in-person event strategy. Getting clients from in-person events means you actually have to get out of your comfort zone and go out and see people in person, the very thing that you probably became a copywriter to avoid. So do it. It's a really, really good way to get clients. If you live in America or you live in a country where there's a lot of copywriting opportunities, I would leverage this because there's an advantage over other people. I haven't been able to use this strategy that much because I've lived in South Africa and I was in Canada and I wasn't really visiting the States that much. But a lot of my American clients in the dojo, they're often going to events. And one of my private American clients recently went to an event and closed 4 premium clients all from one evening. So think about that. You could spend your whole year writing copy for clients. You could use strategy number 1 to get referrals, strategy 2 to get introductions, and then just go to 1 or 2 events per year and get loads and loads of premium clients. It's a really, really good strategy. Now, how do you do it right? Well, what I will tell you from the events I have been to, and what I will tell you from what I've learned from my clients that go to events a lot, that they share these secrets with everybody in the dojo, don't go to the events to get clients. Sounds counterintuitive, but really you gotta go to an event with the idea of, I'm here to learn, I'm not here to get clients, I'm not here to make business connections, I'm just here to learn and make some friends. And if we talk about business, that's great. If not, that's fine. I wasn't really here for that in the first place. And the reason that you need to go to events with this headspace is because you don't want to come across as needy. You don't want to come across as somebody who wants to grab all these clients and get money, and I need to be here, and if this doesn't work, then my whole career is over. Don't do that. Go to an event with the idea of, hey, I'm just here to learn, just here to get it, have fun, just here to meet some cool people and help my clients make a boatload of money. I like that frame, by the way, that I'm at the event here to learn so I can make my clients a lot of money as a copywriter. Because then they're like, oh, that's cool, so you're a copywriter, and what kind of clients are you working with? Well, I'm working with a client that makes, let's say like $3 million a month, and I'm working on their ad campaigns and their funnels, and it's really, really fun, and that's why I'm at this event, because I want to make it even better. Oh, well, we also run funnels, and we're also in the health space, so are you by any chance taking on other clients right now? Yeah, actually I'm taking on clients, but let's chat about that offline. Let me get your number and we can chat about that after the event or at some other time. How's that sound? Boom, you see, like that? That is how you can really, get opportunities, create connections without coming across needy, without coming across like you want to close clients, but you can still generate business from in-person events. And the other thing about events that are great, even if you don't close a client at the event, even if you don't meet a client, you meet all these other really, really cool people in the industry who will give you referrals and introductions potentially in the future. So events are really a win-win-win because you get the referrals and introductions, you can potentially get clients on the spot too, and you get a crap ton of photos you can post all over social media and LinkedIn and on your website to improve your positioning and use to get clients on those platforms too. So if you can go to in-person events, I'd highly, highly recommend this. This is one of the hardest strategies up front because it's scary, because you have to get out of your comfort zone. It might cost money, but it is where all the high quality people are hanging out and where all the deals really are happening. I'll give you one last example quickly before we get into the next strategy. So there's a copywriter in the dojo who doesn't actually live in the US, but he always goes to the US for events. He actually flies all the way from Europe and sometimes from Dubai all the way to America for events. And he closes lots of clients. Like, he's doing a really, really good job. And yeah, this copywriter spends a bit of money going from Europe or Dubai to America. You got the ticket, you got the accommodation, you got the price of the event. All of that together might be anywhere from $4,000 to $10,000. Could be expensive, but what about the potential business that you can generate? That's why I say this video is for copywriters with clients and active income, not for beginners. Because if you're a beginner, it might be more difficult to use this strategy. But if you have clients and you're making money and you can make the investment, I've always found from all the people I've worked with and all the events I've been to, they always give you a better return. So you might spend $4,000 to $10,000 to get their accommodation and everything else, but you create lifelong connections with people in the industry, you meet incredible businesses, you get a couple of really, really good photos for social media, and you usually close clients too. So you could close a premium client for $8,000 a month. If you run it over a year, $8,000 over 12 months is $96,000 of business from a $10,000 upfront investment. And what about all the referrals you're going to get from that business? What about all the introductions you're going to get from that business? What about all the results you get to post on social media and use in case studies and cold email outreach? You can do so many things with this win. So the $10,000 is really not a lot of money at the end of the day. It's really an investment. Just like you would spend $10,000 on ads to acquire customers, think of in-person events and think of events in general as lead generation opportunities. And even if, again, like you don't close a client at the event, you can use the network, you can make friends, you can learn really good stuff, you can use it on social media. I would use this strategy very strategically. That's the only catch here, because there are a lot of events. Don't just go to every event. Don't just assume that you're gonna get clients. Make sure you're going to an event where you know your ideal customers are. If you write in the health industry and you go to an event about like the woo-woo manifestation space, you might not be getting clients or you might not get anybody's interest because you're much more focused on health and most of the people there are more interested in other stuff. So make sure that when you go to an event, you're going to an event that you know has the kind of people that you want to spend time with and you want to be close to in the industry. That is strategy number 10. Let's get into the next one. Okay, strategy number 11, freelance websites like Upwork and Fiverr. Now, I don't personally use this strategy, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but a lot of my clients have had a lot of success with it. Recently, one of the copywriters I work with in Dojo closed a $6,000 per month gig with Upwork. So these strategies work really, really well. A lot of copywriters in the Dojo use this strategy to get clients, and I know it can work for you too. So if I was using this strategy to get clients, what I would do is I would look at how do I stand out? How do I communicate effectively with businesses on Fiverr or Upwork? How do I ask them for reviews to keep boosting my portfolio? how do I make a good proposal, and things like that to just keep improving on the platform. Be professional. You want to build up some presence. Like, I know one thing for sure, if you want to build a client generating engine on Upwork or Fiverr, don't take the people off the platform. Don't take the clients off the platform, because then you're not going to be able to get reviews on the platform. You're not going to be able to build up a case to be made. Yeah, you might be losing a little bit of money because they take a cut, but in the long run, you're going to be building up your CV. You're going to be building up a case for people to work with you. So that's what I would do. There's a lot of free training out there on how to use these platforms. You could also just invest in a coach that actually specializes in this if you want to. We have a lot of people in the dojo who have a lot of experience with this as well. So it is a very great strategy. It does work for six-figure copywriters, but there are other strategies I personally prefer. And so I would say use it, but know how to use it. Okay, so we've made it to the end. The final strategy, last but not least, is direct mail. Now, I like direct mail because almost nobody does it. You're gonna get somebody's attention, and you're gonna be able to make a really good case for yourself, because if they read your mail, your message, you know, it proves that you're a good copywriter. So it works really, really, really well. The conversion rate on this is fantastic. And there are very few copywriters who actually do this. There are very few coaches who teach this. And I don't spend too much time on it. I haven't closed a client like that, just full transparency, but I have 3 clients that I've worked with privately that are currently in the dojo, and all 3 of them get clients like this, and they have no competition, and they have a great life, because if they want to get a client, they can just send some direct mail, get a client, and keep going. Whereas a lot of other people are sending thousands and thousands of cold emails. So you really want to compare. You say, well, do I want to send 2,000 cold emails or 100 cold emails? Or do I want to just send 5 pieces of direct mail? Now, the one thing with the direct mail strategy I would highly recommend is that you focus on businesses that are actively hiring copywriters and are willing to pay premium rates. So you need to go for the best of the best in the industry. Don't go for like small people that may or may not need a copywriter, because there's a big risk if you send a piece of physical mail to their house and they don't actually need a copywriter. It's like, what a waste. Go for businesses that you know absolutely need help with copywriting and are willing to pay premium rates. You'll probably wow them, and they'll very, very likely at least get on the sales call or connect you with somebody, or you'll have your foot in the door and you can get clients like that, okay? So that is strategy number 12. So there you have it. Those are the 12 client getting methods that work right now. Choose the one that makes the most sense for you and then go from there. The most important thing I can tell you is you need to stay consistent if you want this to work. You cannot do this for a week and then stop and then do something else. And you need to get feedback from a coach who has experience, who can walk you through every single step of the process, like me. In the dojo, we have a complete breakdown of each of these 12 client getting strategies in detail, A to Z, step by step. And we're constantly updating our systems to make sure what's working right now is exactly what we have on file. So if you want to join a mastermind of successful copywriters working with the world's top online businesses, apply to join us in the dojo. Links in the description, and I'll see you in the next video.